when it comes to Etch's article regarding knowing that user, I chose two user research techniques that I thought would help us understand millennials and how they use the digital media devices, their platforms, and other ways of life. So I chose contextual inquiry first. So I think it'd be interesting just to see. You don't speak to them, so you just watch the subject, and you can really observe what they're doing and why what they're doing, and you can observe them without questioning their every move. So it makes the subject more comfortable in their everyday life. They don't feel like they're being questioned about every move they're making. And then I also chose user interviews, which is kind of like the complete opposite. But I chose that because if you're conducting these studies, I think it'd be interesting to know why they're doing what they're doing. I think that's kind of the most important part. So like the user interviews can really help get the information you want out of the subject and really get into their thought process of how and why they're doing and not doing certain things. And then when it comes to what kinds of information I'd seek from users to understand their relationship to burnout, digital spaces, and everyday life. Some things I'd want to know is I'd want to know what they're truly afraid of when avoiding these mundane, everyday tasks, like cited in the article, like delivering a package to the post office. Like what scares them, like the post office person that's taking the money. Maybe they're just not educated on the process of how to deliver a package, but I'd like to know why they don't want to do that. Another one would be I want to know if they're even aware of the fact that they're participating in this burnout that's happening with millennials. I know I'm not a millennial, I guess, but I've never heard of it. I know there's a whole theory of millennials being lazier and not great workers in a workplace, but the burnout phase is interesting, and I'd want to know if they're even aware that they're participating in that. And I'd want to know what kind of tasks they think are associated with the word adulting. I don't like using that word, but I know our society, at least the Gen Z and millennials, like use that word a lot. So I'd like to know what they would call as adulting. I know people think like doing the dishes is adulting or like cooking for themselves is adulting. But that's a good question I think I would like to ask. And then who would I ask? Starting with, obviously, I'd want to ask millennials from all different walks of life to see maybe if there's like a certain type of person that we can associate with the burnout community. Besides like the whole millennial generation, because I doubt it's the whole millennials, and I just would like to see if it's a certain group. But I also think it'd be interesting to ask the lower generation, so Gen Z, these particular questions, because the forefront of Gen Z is about to enter the workforce. They're probably 22 and starting their real life, so I would be interested if like any of these burnout phases, I guess, fit their lives too.